Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is Melanie Hunter. She is a holistic nutritional consultant, certified breathwork instructor, and founder of Alii, a line of supplements designed to address drug-induced nutrient depletions. Which is amazing. Never heard about that, as I said, off record. So Melanie's full bio will be at the end. The question that I love asking, I'll be asking you lots of questions about nutrition, about health, wellness, and then, of course, your supplement line. But before that, how would you introduce yourself, Melanie? Who are you in your own words?
Who am I? That is such a complicated question, isn't it?
Yes.
I think nowadays, I have worn many hats and been many things in my life, and I usually introduce myself as first a mother of 3 boys, because I believe that is my most important work. And often the wife of an entrepreneur, because that carries a whole other story. And as well as that, I'm a holistic nutrition consultant, I'm a breathwork instructor, and I am an entrepreneur. However, my husband is a serial entrepreneur, and that I am not. I am a very passionate person who saw an issue that I really wanted to address. And so I am on a journey with a passion project, if you will.
How wonderful. Do you see the work you do as a calling, as a mission, as a purpose? And if you do, what was the inspiration for it specifically?
Yeah, 100% I do. I felt, first of all, I took a very large amount of time off to raise my boys. And so let's call that a decade. And I was doing a lot of stuff during that time. That's when I got certified to be a breathwork instructor. That's when I went back to school to become a holistic nutrition consultant. So I was educating myself, but my family and raising my boys really was first. Right. And so, fast forward to my kids all being in school. My youngest started preschool, very short amount of hours, but I felt very much, and even before that, this calling in my heart that there was more for me to do. Right. And so I kept asking, God, the universe, like, show me what that is. And so I was meditating, and I am, deep into meditation. And so I do long meditation sometimes, and I was meditating, and I had this download of Alii. And so for me, I started with, I have one product with Alii, which is your birth control's best friend. And I have formulas for the other ones, but we are self-funded. So it's a small growing company. Anyhow, and it was a personal thing for me that I really wanted to share. I went on birth control when I was 19 years old, and I stayed on it for a decade. And I asked so many questions, and yet nobody told me that it was depleting so many vital nutrients in my body. And so I had this download during this meditation and felt very much called to do that. And so I'm really on a mission to educate young women about this problem, whether you take my product or you find other ways to support your body. But I think education is power. And we need to know as women what we are doing and what choices we're making and how we can best support our bodies.
Yes, 1,000,000,000%. Especially listening to the body, that's a big one. Okay. Besides the intuition, this meditative experience you had and the inspiration, is that also something it is scientifically proven or backed?
Yeah, 100%. If you go on PubMed, I have one sitting next to me, but there are studies that show that birth control, and specifically hormonal birth control, because there is a difference, and often it's birth control pills that were studied, really because birth control pills have been around the longest, right? So there's much less information available on newer forms of contraceptives, but yes, 100%. There's studies that show that hormonal birth control depletes vital nutrients in the body. So yes, that is background science.
And it makes a lot of sense to me without even looking at researching, without reading that would happen. And that's why you developed other supplements too. I see here. I love the colors, I have to say. I'm like almost like an artist. I love art.
Yeah, I love your colors, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you see? I love the design. The colors are so gentle. And also design is almost like a sun or some sort of a spiral. It's just beautiful. It feels really good to look at it even.
Thank
That's
you.
funny to say, but I just want to say that. And
Yeah.
then, so you also have, so you have your birth controls, a best friend. You have for antibiotics, people taking.
So I'm going to interrupt you. I hate to interrupt you, but those are
Yeah.
not actually available yet. I have formulas
Oh.
for all of them. The
Mm,
next one we come out with will be your antidepressants best friend. But because my husband and I are funding this company, it's just been a slower growth. And so we're
yeah.
just waiting to release that until the time is right. But your antidepressants best friend will be the next one that is available because that's another big offender that I feel very
Yes.
passionate about, and so many people are on antidepressants, but it's not currently available.
Wow, but I love the idea. So yeah, thank you for the correction there. So the only one available now is your birth control's best friend. That's the only
Correct.
one. That can be found on your website, also Amazon, Melanie, or just your website.
Amazon is being launched in January, so it'll be available very soon.
Mm,
Yes, and it's also available on TikTok Shop.
okay. I always ask for Amazon, I guess, because I don't drive. So I buy everything on Amazon. It's easier
Yeah,
and the card's already there. It's convenient and all that. So I know some people say, I don't have my products on Amazon because it doesn't work for whatever reason. But I don't know why. Yeah. I always ask that question, maybe for
yeah,
convenience sake.
yeah. I think convenience is so important, and I 100% agree. I personally buy a lot of things on Amazon as well, so I want to make
Okay.
it more easily available. So we are launching Amazon.
Okay. Good to know. Another question I have for you, this is more like a general question about wellness and well-being and health in general. How do you define health? What is to be a healthy person from your perspective?
From my perspective, health comes from the alignment of the physical body, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional. It's all of them, right? So I
Yeah.
think that, we are physical beings. However, we are also, really, we're all energy, right? And so our emotions, have a physical consequence, or, our mental well being is health. And so you cannot be truly healthy unless you're embodying alignment in all of these
Mm,
things and all of these separate parts of ourselves. And I think sometimes we forget that in the field, and the media loves to pick on one thing, or like pick one thing to focus on, and it's never one thing because we are complex beings.
right, right. Yeah, thank you for saying that. And then you mentioned that you say there are other ways to support your body while taking hormone and birth control. So, and then you mentioned nutrition, of course, breath work, meditation, and then you said connection. That Yeah, that kind of opens my heart because I really think that's a huge part of it, isn't it, Melanie? Being able to connect deeply with others and meaningfully, especially in your case, I'm not a mother, but you having children. And I mean, that must be amazing, that kind of connection. So talk to me about the other ways of being healthy that's holistic.
Yeah. The thing I love about health is when you get down to the foundation, it's really universal for everyone, right?
Right,
And so
right.
when we're
Yeah.
talking about, whether you're a woman or a man, or if you're on birth control or you're not, or you're on something else, really there's a foundational level that we all really need to work on and achieve. And that's something that you work on for your entire life because we need balance, right? And we
Right,
live in a
right.
world where there's toxins and that we're bombarded by information, and that there's a lot of things that just make it so that it's a course of life, right? This is not something, it's not a magic pill. Mine is not either, right? It's a piece of the puzzle of wellness. So, it's like back to the basics. Like, we need, as human beings, we need adequate quality sleep. We need to sleep when it's dark. We need to wake with natural sunlight. Sun and light is so important. We need clean water to drink. We need adequate nourishment and nutrition. And we need adequate nourishment and nutrition for our souls as well, which is
Yeah.
connection with other humans and rest, and, taking care of our traumas and our emotional wounds, and stress management. It's like I don't even love that word, but it's the reality is, we all are
Yeah.
stressed and we're all
True.
overloaded, and there are parts of us, we have to tend to all of those parts. That is really what health is, right? You can't just decide you're going to do one thing. You're going to exercise next year and you're going to be on a health journey. It's better, right? It's better than not
Yes.
exercising, but
Yes.
there's so many pieces to the puzzle for true health and longevity and wellness. And those are, but they're foundational. And I believe that I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm very much into meditation and whatnot. And I do believe that you have to address the foundational parts first in order for you to be able to carry a different energy, to elevate yourself, and to be able to sit and meditate and to be fully present. And so I believe that my supplement fits into that. It's the foundational goals that we all first need to achieve so that we can then elevate ourselves.
Yes, yes. Beautifully said. Yeah, thank you. Wisely said, too. Yes. How do you define spirituality, Melanie? Do you have a specific, a different way of defining what that is, or that will be everything that you just said?
I mean, I can answer that in so many ways. I think I personally believe in God, and I believe God and the universe are the same, right? So to me, it doesn't matter what name you use. I won't, I don't get offended by anybody's beliefs anyway, but I believe that, we are all of God. So we are all of this energy that is everything. And so therefore you are a piece of God and I am a piece of God, and everything that we see is a piece of God. And I also, I have issues with religion, if you will, because I believe sometimes religion really teaches separateness, and I don't believe in that. I don't believe in judgment. I don't believe that we're here to judge each other. I believe we are here to experience what it means to be a human, and to open our hearts, to love even a fraction of how we can from where we come from, right?
I see everything as every human or everything as doing what it's supposed to be doing. So nothing is really out of place.
Yes.
Of course, easier said than done when I see injustice, people doing horrible things to dogs per se, or children. Gosh, that really, the whole body kind of has this interesting response to it. But I think also it has to do with the connection with the other being, compassion, empathy. So I can't really help. But there's no judgment, just the feelings of injustice and feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I mean, I can just relate. I feel like I'm a very empathetic person as well. And so I'm a person who has always felt a lot, right?
Yeah.
And that's hard sometimes, to be a young person who feels a lot, and you get labeled these, things like sensitive or needy or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And as you grow, you realize that is such a gift to be able to feel so much once you learn to kind of navigate that and have tools. And I agree with you. I think it's hard to see suffering because you feel that suffering. And at the same time, I mean, I'm not always good at applying it, but I do believe that we come here to experience things, and not just beautiful things. We come to here to experience hardships, because I think, in heaven or whatever you believe, that wherever we are after this, there is none of that, right? It's just pure love. And so to understand ourselves better, we have to have contrasts. And I think that part of the human experience is experiencing contrast, and that can be hard. And that's okay.
Yes, right. Yeah. How do you make sense of suffering? Do you think about the law of karma when it comes to that, or do you have another understanding?
I do believe in karma because I believe that we are energetic beings.
Okay.
However, on a larger scale, I believe in reincarnation, and I believe that we chose what we came here to experience. And so if you think about life in terms, I have 3 boys, and so my older boys love video games. And if you think of life as a video game, then it's like, jumping off a building in a video game isn't a big deal. Yes, you die, but you just come back to life, right?
Yeah.
And so if this is actually what we're experiencing, when you're choosing something that in this world feels so hard and awful, probably doesn't feel that way if you're looking at, hundreds of lives that you're experiencing. And so, it's hard because we are living this human experience. And so we feel those things very deeply. And so it's not that, someone is suffering and I think lightly on it. I don't. And at the same time, I believe I chose the challenges that I have in my life because I came here to learn and experience and to understand myself better. Right. And so it's like, it doesn't happen to me. It's not, I'm not a victim of it. I get to learn from the experiences that I chose. And some of them are hard, and it's part of it.
Yes. You have very a deep understanding about these things, life itself and yourself. When did you get to know these things? As a child, as a teenager, did you have somebody to teach you, a mentor, or you learned on your own?
I think to some degree it was always in me. I remember, and I've talked about this with my mother recently, but I remember being a young girl and I was laying in bed with my mother, and I was maybe 8 years old. I don't really know, to be honest. She doesn't either. And I told her I was someone before this. And she said, "What do you mean?" And I was raised a Protestant. I went to church, and my parents never talked. They don't believe in reincarnation. They never talked about that. It was not something I was exposed to. It was something that was in me, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "What do you mean by that?" And I said, I did not start when I was born. Like, my body may have, but I just knew, even at that young age, that it was more than that. And so I think that I felt somewhat misunderstood for a lot of years because I didn't know what to do with that. And I didn't really have, a safe place to experiment with that. And as I've gotten older, I've learned, meditation has been an amazing thing, or books, or, just other resources. And my bubble has opened up, and I understand the concepts better. And what I already knew is very clear to me now, where it was a knowing, but I didn't really understand it.
Yes. Yeah. That just resonates with me 100%. So that's
Yeah.
coming from different lifetimes. That makes sense.
Yeah. Did you have a similar knowing at a young age?
Yeah. How
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. The same way here. And then we try to find then systems, right, Melanie, to kind of reflect that wisdom that's already here. That's interesting how I have studied everything, Buddhism, Zen, Tibetan, everything, just to find something that would match, what's
Yeah.
already here.
And what a gift that curiosity is, right? Because then it brings you to places to help you to better understand yourself and everything.
Yes, God, and I live for that. Being open, being curious. I mean, it's fun too, isn't it? It's
It
more
is.
playful, makes life so much better.
I totally agree.
So going back to your beautiful supplement line, I keep thinking about, I don't have it in front of me, but I took a picture, mental
Oh, I have it
picture.
in front of me,
I
yes.
know, yeah, it's so beautiful. I love the colors. It's like
Thank
this light
you.
pink, rose. I mean, it's just so beautiful, the design. Did you design that?
No, I have a really great friend, and I think the universe, brought us
Mm,
together. We're
yeah.
friends because we have our sons are the same age and they're friends. And she's amazing at design, and so she helps me. She designed
God,
it. I helped her.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So going back to that, there are questions here that I was looking at your website, and I love the education part too, that you have Alii e-course. So you have videos there, short videos explaining everything, addressing different questions. So one of them is about what vitamins and minerals are depleted by hormonal birth control and why it matters. I would love for you to talk to me for a moment about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so many, which is, the part that really it matters. Like, it really matters. So just to name some first, and then I'll go into more of why it matters. But
Yeah.
vitamin B2, folate, vitamin B12, magnesium, zinc, selenium. Some studies will say vitamin D, C, or E. And there's some, there's overlap on a lot. And then there's a couple outliers that say maybe. And interestingly, there's also a study that says that actually taking hormonal birth control can elevate other certain nutrients, which are vitamin A.
Mm,
And so, among others, but so, it was formulated very specifically to make sure that you were replenishing all of the nutrients that are depleted. And while all B vitamins are not depleted by hormonal birth control, a couple of them are. And so we decided to put an entire B complex in because B vitamins work
mm,
synergistically. And,
yeah.
B vitamins alone are so important in energy and in metabolism and how you metabolize your food and mood supports. I mean, you need B vitamins to produce neurotransmitters and, serotonin. And so that matters. And, you look at what it's depleting, let's just say the B vitamins specific for mood, and vitamin D also would affect mood. Magnesium would also affect mood. And then, so many things would affect your immune system negatively if you're depleted in them. And if you look at who is being prescribed birth control, a lot of times it is young women, teenagers, college girls, who, first of all, do not have the best diets in the first place. They're
Right.
also growing. And so you have someone who needs more nutritional support and really needs a robust diet because they're growing and just to support that. And then you give them birth control and they are already depleted and you're adding additional, depletion. And that's really an issue that will cause side effects now, but also down the road. And that's what I'm really trying to help women avoid. It's like, we live in a toxic world and our soils are depleted. And so
Yes.
if you're not really being intentional about, detoxing properly and about really eating an amazing diet. I mean, I eat a really great diet and I still supplement because I really believe like with our soils being depleted the way they are, it's really challenging to, get adequate nutrition through food alone.
Yeah.
And that's me in a phase of life where I take really good care of myself. Another population of women that may get prescribed birth control, I know I was, is, in between children. You have a baby and you don't want to have back-to-back pregnancies. It's really hard on the body. And so you go on birth control. And these women just built a baby, delivered a baby, and maybe nursing, which all require, massive nutrient stores. And so these women are depleted as well. And so I think, that's also part of the thing that needs to really be known is that, if you're in a phase of life where you really need the nutrient support and your diet is not optimal, and then you add birth control, you're really setting yourself up for a lot of issues, both short-term and long-term. And, there's been studies to show that women have thyroid problems down the road. There's certain cancers that hormonal birth control is shown to increase, other ones decrease, but autoimmune conditions, these are all rampant in our society. And I think they're not caused by one thing alone. It's not that birth control causes them. It's just this cascade of environmental toxins, lack of adequate nutrition, and then adding things like this on top of them that really set us up for failure in the long run.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. So hormonal balance is such a huge piece of health, isn't it? God, for all of us, men and women,
Yeah.
and everyone.
And it's a journey, right? And even that, like as a woman, our bodies are going through 28-day cycles. We go through different phases of life from puberty to menopause, right? And so
Yeah.
the hormonal balance is always constantly shifting and changing because we as women are. And that's a delicate balance. And, we have a lot of things stacked against us in this modern world that we live in. And
Yeah.
so it's really just, how can we really support our bodies to be optimized?
That's so wonderful. Can anyone actually take the supplement? Alii? Is that
Yeah.
I would love to try it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can send you some. Yeah, 100%. I take it and I am no longer
Mhm.
in this space of
Yeah,
my life.
right.
I take it because it's a really amazing blend of nutrients. And also I didn't say, but we also have a patented ingredient called Core Biome, which supports a healthy microbiome in two ways. One, it helps
Right.
balance gut flora, and two, it helps support healthy intestinal walls. And the gut is key with everything. It's your immune system, the gut brain axis. It also regulates your mood. And so you have to have a healthy microbiome to be healthy, right? And so we also support
Yeah.
that. So yes, I take it. My husband takes it sometimes because he said he feels like he has increased energy levels when he takes it. And I've heard that from a lot of customers. I mean, that's what I guess what they notice is more stable moods, increased energy levels, less bloating. And then we have plenty of women who have said that they feel like their hair or nails or skin have gotten healthier as well. And those are mostly the benefits that people can tell. And it's also really supporting your immune system, which is, a little bit harder to gauge, but is equally important.
Yes. Gosh, Melanie, so everyone can use it. I love that even more. Like, it's not really just for people who are taking birth control, women taking birth control.
Yeah.
That's even better. Another thing I want to mention is that you offer subscription plan too. So it automatically it can come to you. So I want to mention that too here. And the other question that inspired me is I call guided questions is about things that I don't know because I never took birth control. I never tried not to have children. I just never happened for some
Mhm.
reason. So the question is on your website, can Alii be used with the vaginal ring and with an IUD? device, which I'm not familiar with, but I would love for you to explain that for those who don't know.
Yeah. So there's lots of forms of birth control these days. There's implants, there's vaginal rings, there's IUDs. I have tried a few of them. I tried pills, the vaginal ring, and
Oh, yeah.
IUD. Personally, I didn't have the implant, but they're all a blend of either estrogen and progestin, which is a synthetic progesterone. And most studies are done on pills using both estrogen and progesterone. However, we have amazing testimonials from women who are on IUDs that are just progesterone and that have felt so much better, more energy, less bloating, taking Alii. So I think the answer is yes. There's also a copper IUD, and if you have a copper IUD, it's non-hormonal. That's a non-hormonal form. And if you have that, you probably don't need the entire supplement, but you 100% need to supplement with zinc. You could take it as your multivitamin. It has zinc in it as well, but copper and zinc compete for absorption. And so when you have a copper IUD, you will end up deficient in zinc. So that's something that people should know. But yeah, essentially any form of hormonal birth control, we would 100% be a great fit for.
Yeah, so that's great to know. Another question that kind of caught my attention immediately, and I don't know why the question was raised too. Are you promoting the use of birth control? Is that something that could get political or something? Because I don't really, that's an interesting question.
I'm actually glad you asked because 100% I am not promoting it. I am also not shaming people for it. I think that, in the health space, there's a lot of shaming around birth control. And I am not here to tell any woman to take it or not take it. I really believe that as women, we get to choose what is right for our bodies. And personally, I'm grateful that I had birth control as a tool. I had friends that made some really difficult decisions during those years, and I'm grateful I didn't have to. With that being said, I also think that, I did suffer some side effects and pay the consequences of taking birth control for so long for the following decade, right? And so I wish I would have supported my body during that time, but I am not here to say, if I go out of business because every woman goes off birth control, that's okay. Honestly, that is okay. Same thing with antidepressants. I'm going to, have a formula for women for people on antidepressants. And if that goes out of business because everyone goes off of antidepressants, I'm okay with that too. I'm not in this for the wrong reason. I just am in here, I want to meet you where you are on your journey. And I don't think there should be any shame around it either way.
That's beautiful. Gosh, what else? Is there any question that I didn't ask, Melanie, anything that you left unsaid, and questions that I didn't ask because there's so many? I'm trying to find, because I don't know much about birth control, and I tried to do.
I think I would just love for people to know that if you are listening to this and you know someone who's taking birth control, I would, encourage you to share, because this is not something that is taught. Most physicians don't necessarily even know. I've had conversations with, some doctors who are not even aware. Most physicians have very little nutrition training in the first place. And so, they're taught, to be able to identify a disease state and to treat it, or identify a problem and treat it, right? And so this isn't something that you're going to likely hear about in your doctor's office for a very long time. I hope that day comes, because I think it's really important. But if you don't choose to buy Alii, that's okay. Just know that you need additional support. You need additional nutrients during this time, especially if you know teenage girls who are taking birth control. I think I have so much passion around this, and it also is a really tricky area, because I don't want to try to sell something to a teenage girl that feels wrong, right? And so I don't know that I've done a great job of reaching mothers of teenage girls, but I know as a mother, you only are doing what you think is best for your child, right? You want 100% what's best for your child, and you do the best with the information that you have. And so if your daughter is struggling with, really heavy periods or really terrible cramps or whatnot, and you don't know what else to do, and the doctor suggests birth control, then you go and put her on birth control. And that's fine. That's done out of love. And you need to know that that's not going to address the root cause of the issue. It may provide some temporary relief. And either way, regardless of the reasons why she's being put on birth control, she needs extra support during those years where she's growing and in times where, there's anxiety and depression through the roof. And, these are things that require foundational nutrition in the body. Mental health requires a healthy microbiome and B vitamins and vitamin D. And so it matters. And so I think that I get somewhat, frustrated with the world in our, in which we're not taught these things first. And so it's important.
I know. Yeah. I hear the passion in your voice. I love that. And the compassion and your website too. Yeah. You say that in your bio, how much you're here to educate and to empower. Yeah. Women. That's all it's needed really, because the choice is not ours, right? We're not in control of other people in how what would decide to do, but that's our job, to educate. Beautiful. So, I have a question for you about, as a holistic nutritional consultant, what do you do exactly? Is that together with birth control? Is that topics always around that, or do you address other issues?
Yeah, no, I became a holistic nutrition consultant really to help my family, and then I was doing one-on-one consulting here and there while I was raising my boys, and I find that it doesn't fill my cup because I would be so passionate and so excited. It's really hard to make changes, right?
Yeah.
And so what I decided to do is just share on Instagram. I have an Instagram account that's Holistic Health with Mel, and I share tips about food. A lot of it's, energy, spirituality, mental health, whatever I'm passionate about at that time, because like I said, it's all of it, right? It's not one thing. And so I kind of am able to feed that part of me that really loves to share and educate through my Instagram account. So I do that, which is separate from Alii. We have social as well, which is Alii, ALII supplements, which is our social or our website for that matter. But that's different and separate.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I was just curious about that, your work as a consultant. But then, I'll have allysupplement.com. The website will be clickable on the podcast notes, and I'll have this one only, unless you wanted me to have the other one too.
No, it's okay. The other one's not our website. It's just an Instagram. So
Instagram. So, okay. I'll have the allysupplement.com. Wonderful. I love everything you do. I love how peaceful you are about it all too. There's a level of peace that I feel, which is wonderful. It's almost like, I feel that when people are doing what they're supposed to do, they are meant to do in this lifetime. So it's very obvious to me. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So my last question, let's see. Yeah, I'll ask you this one. What 3 experiences you wish everyone to have before they lose the body, before they die?
What 3 experiences? So I think that what comes to mind is really knowing how to be fully present in the moment. Yeah. I think this is a dying skill in a world that's very fast paced and where, the algorithms, you can't have anything longer than 6 seconds on Instagram or you lose people because we have a hard time staying fully present and we are bombarded by information. Right. And when we can slow down and really be present in the moment, you really can see the divine and beauty of everything that's there all the time. We just don't take the time to notice, right? And so I would say presence would be one. The second would be to really know like pure joy, where you're in the state of just, pure happiness and there's just nothing else there. And I guess the third one would be connection. And, for me, when I was thinking about when I said that, is like connection to source, which I feel very deeply when I am in deep meditations, and there's not even words to describe that. Right. And if not that, at least a deep connection with the self and with other people, because I think we are so beautifully interwoven into this earth, and I think that to really feel that connection is, what makes life so beautiful.
Yes, 1 billion times to everything you said. It's like almost my voice in another body. Isn't that funny? It feels like a melody to me. I often say that like a song, when I hear
Yeah.
people, or guided meditation. Gosh, yeah, so true, Melanie, about the presence, right? Being in the moment, slowing down. We have lost that, most of us.
Yeah.
But then thank you for doing this work, breath work. So this is part of meditations, part of returning to the heart, returning to the source, to the divine wisdom. So
Yeah.
thank you for being the inspiration again for that, for your family and then your community, and then who knows, the entire world. That's what we need more. We have to be the message, right? We can't really just deliver messages. We have to
Yeah.
embody that.
100%.
Yeah, so you're doing exactly that. Thank you so much again for being you. Thank you for saying yes to our conversation today. Thank you. And we'll talk soon. We'll be in touch
Thank you so
again.
much. I appreciate
Bye
you.
for now. Bye.